So good afternoon, and thank you for making it on relatively short notice. On March 28th, after much deliberation, I decided to retain Craig Robinson as our head men's basketball coach. At the time, and shortly after the conclusion of the season, I met with Craig, listened to his plan for the future, and decided to allow him another year to turn this program around. I thought at the time that he deserved another chance, that he had given us 6 years of effort, and that a change in leadership at the time was not in the best interest of the university, the program, and Oregon State student athletes. As you know, I issued a strongly worded letter of support for Craig that day. Since that time, and after further evaluation, thought, and discussion, I decided on Thursday past that my initial decision was wrong. I called Craig on Thursday to attempt to set up an in-person meeting for the following Friday, the next day. He was out of town and would not be in the office until today. During the course of the phone conversation on Thursday, I did acknowledge to him that I had changed my mind. Despite my sincere want for Craig to be successful at Oregon State, as the days moved on since March, it became clear to me that wanting it to work with Craig as our coach was not good enough. Oregon State University, our student athletes, and our loyal supporters deserve more than the simple desire. They deserve success. My reversal is not due to any one factor. I am charged with doing whatever is in the best interest of Oregon State and our students, and I simply believe that now we need a fresh start. Once I reached my conclusion, I owed it to everyone to make this move, despite the fact that it was counter to my own statement just 5 weeks ago. If my change in thought has caused any unintended harm, I sincerely apologize. The decision to initially retain Craig and then ultimately dismiss him was made by me and me alone, and I bear that responsibility. Craig is a man of great character and integrity who worked diligently to try to take our program to new heights. He played a key role in the design, construction, and more importantly, the fundraising for the OSU Basketball Center, which will benefit generations of men and women, student athletes at OSU. I want to thank Craig and Kelly, Avery and Leslie, Austin and Aaron, for everything they have given to Oregon State. We wish them the best, and I am confident Craig will find success in his future endeavors. So now we move forward. Like all athletic directors, I want a coach who will recruit elite student athletes who can compete at the highest levels and will earn their degrees. We want teams who will contend for championships on an annual basis and who will represent Oregon State with class and dignity. Despite the late date, I am confident that the head coach position at OSU is an attractive one, and we will have a strong pool of candidates. We play in one of America's best conferences. We have a tradition of outstanding fan support. We have a top-notch basketball center, and we are a school with a proud basketball tradition. Today is about moving ahead and returning Oregon State men's basketball to its place among the nation's elite. With that, I say thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Carolis, over the past 5 weeks, what kind of triggered those feelings and kind of your change of heart?
I think, as I said in my opening remarks, that we started with further evaluation and thought and discussion. I came to the conclusion that we needed a fresh start, and that the most recent transfers certainly cemented that feeling. And once I made that decision, I wanted to move quickly.
Can you expand on that? Did you have discussions with the transfers who said we're not playing for Robinson?
No, it wasn't anything like that. Everybody had their own. I'm not really going to go into the individual discussions with them, but it had nothing to do with that. They all had their own personal reasons.
What was some of the players' reaction when you talked to them last week or a couple weeks ago?
I met with the players today, this morning. We told them that there's going to be a range of emotions. We're here to support you. We want you to be successful. And we'll get you a great coach.
And were they surprised at all by the news?
I really couldn't judge their demeanor, to be honest with you. I mean, anytime you lose a coach or a situation like this happens, you're going to have plenty of emotions. We talked about that. But it seemed like that they were in a good place, at least now. One thing that I did advise them to do is to reach out and talk to people, and not through Twitter, face to face. And I think they took that to heart, and we are here to help them and support them.
Can you talk about the plan that he laid out for you in that original meeting and what was attractive about that?
Yeah, I really don't want to go into the plan because that was something between me and Coach. But suffice it to say that upon further reflection, I felt like we needed to get a fresh start.
Have you thought at all about, the incoming recruiting class, and is there any chance that if they ask that you would, let them out of their scholarship?
Yeah, I think, yeah, we would be open-minded to any of that stuff. As far as the recruits go, if they want to come to OSU, I'm sure we will welcome them. If they want to, because of this, want to move out, I mean, I would say that let's wait to see who the new coach is. And usually what the process is in that is the coach sometimes has to re-recruit you to come back to school, come to the school. So we would be open-minded to that.
Have you started speaking with other coaching candidates yet?
Not yet, but as soon as this is over, I will.
Bob, do you feel that some progress has been made through the years, though, as to where the program is right now, that it's still in a lot better shape than it was back in '07, '08?
Absolutely. I mean, when Craig got here, it was not very good, as you all know. Yes, he got us to a different spot, which was good. We just feel that to get to the next spot, we needed a fresh start. But certainly, we thank him for his involvement, as I mentioned before, with the facility. I mean, without that, we don't have much of a chance. That building is a game changer.
Bob, have you spoken to the assistants on Craig's staff?
We've been trying to do that all day, but they've been tied up. So my hope is that sometime this afternoon, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
And a May firing, it's late in the game. Do you have a timetable how quickly you'd like to find a replacement and name them?
We want to act quickly, but we want to make the right choice. So fast but deliberate.
I do have a follow-up question, Bob. You're a highly intelligent, very logical man who really has built this program up. I remember when you came here, he was in big trouble, and over the years, you've made it better and better. But isn't there more that you can go into as far as what the decision, how you got to that? I don't believe you just woke up one morning and said, that's it, I'm changing my mind.
How do you know that happened?
Because you're a brilliant and logical man, and
Well, thank you. I think whenever you hire a coach, there's a recruiting process to that. And you get close, and you get emotional. And we were friends of the Robinsons socially. And so when I talk about wanting it to happen, I wanted it to happen for him, for those players, for this institution, for all those loyal Beavers out there. And so I think in my evaluation, at the first part of it, I was looking through it through orange-colored glasses. And as I pulled myself away after I had made the decision and just went back and reevaluated, all those thoughts. I was coming to a different place.
Bob, did you feel it was necessary to have a candidate in mind in order to do something like this at this point in the year?
Absolutely not. We don't have a candidate in mind. We'll have a lot of help from the media giving us potential candidates, and that's great. Keep them coming.
Another question. I know when Coach Robinson arrived, of course, we all know his ties to the White House, who he's related to. Are you hoping, and he kind of got a lot of attention when he arrived, are you hoping to make a big splash like that to hopefully put Beaver basketball program back on the map like it was 20 years ago?
Well, I think any time when you're making a hire, the goal is twofold. You want to hire a great coach who can win and do it the right way, and you want to win the press conference. And so that ultimately would be what you try to do. But the first thing is to try to get the coach that is a great coach that can win, that's going to do it the right way. And if you win the press conference, great.
Had you had any talks before this past season about his job security? I mean, with so much returning talent that this past team had, about maybe him needing to make some serious strides?
I mean, we talk about that all the time. And every coach gets evaluated right after the end of the season. You know, you have concerns, you have thoughts, you talk about what the prospects are, how's recruiting going. I mean, those conversations happen all the time. Specifically about somebody's job situation, probably not. But yeah, you just constantly evaluate.
Can you talk about the media donors and also the boosters? What input did they have in terms of your decision?
You know, as far as fans, donors, alums, I mean, they are a passionate group, and we applaud that, and we want them to be passionate. But as far as this decision is going, as far as the first one and the reversal, that's all on me. There were no influences whatsoever.
When you originally met with him 5 weeks ago, why do you think now that he won't be able to meet those standards anymore?
Again, I think just on the evaluation part and thinking it all through, I think I was more objective this time around than the first time around.
How big of a factor was Coach Robinson's contract situation in this decision?
It's always about the money, isn't it, is what they say. But we've got a financial plan that's been endorsed by the Vice President, Chief Financial Officer of the university. It's challenged, but we will meet the commitment.
Bob, how would you describe your working relationship with Craig in the time he was here?
I think it's been good. I mean, I think it's been good. Like I said, we were socially would do some things at times. I thought it was a great relationship. That's what makes this so tough.
That was kind of my follow-up question. How hard was it to make the decision involving someone you considered a friend?
It's hard. It's real hard. But at the end of the day, I believe, as I mentioned earlier, it's my responsibility to do what's best for this institution and this athletic department.
In the past few days after making your decision, were you able to get more donor support to help with the contract situation and alleviate that burden?
The donors aren't helping with the contract.
You said it was a challenge with the financial thing. Can you talk a little bit about the challenge of being there?
Well, the way do they have a copy of the contract? Did that come out, Steve? Think. Bueller. Steve, do they have a copy of the contract at all? No, okay. So the way the contract works, it's approximately 4.2 and then some change. I don't know the exact number. That gets paid out over the life of the contract. So there's roughly 38 months, because we're in the May 5th here. Okay, so count May as one. So it would be paid out as if the coach was still working here on a monthly basis, obviously without benefits and all those kinds of things. So that's how it's not a lump sum, and there's also a mitigation factor in there. So if coach takes a job someplace else, whatever that is, our liability gets reduced by that. Does that make sense?
What was Craig's reaction when you talked to him on Thursday? Was he understanding or probably surprised?
I really can't judge it because it was on the phone, and that wasn't my preference, to be honest with you. So I really can't. I would think anytime somebody is told that you're probably out of a job, you're going to have a whole range of emotions. And trying to describe that is almost impossible for me.
I believe you gave him a 1-year extension in September 2012, so can you kind of revisit that and take us through what you saw in him at that point that made you feel like you should?
Did they win 21 games that year?
Huh?
Did they have a 20-win season that year? When was the last time that ever happened here? So, yeah. Pat.
As I was out interviewing students on campus, I was surprised at how many kids say, I just don't follow basketball. I have no idea what's going on with that. Does that bother you that it's not a top-tier, top-of-mind sport here?
Well, that must mean they're going to class. So that's a good thing. It needs to be a top-tier sport, and it will be a top-tier sport, and we need to do a better job in marketing and getting those kids engaged, but we need to give them a product that they're going to rally around, and we need to get connected with them. So I'm sorry to hear that, but it gives us great opportunity to make an impact.
Bob, who's like the interim head of the men's basketball program to answer the phone with recruits, et cetera?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've been having a tough time getting together, but we will reach out to them, and we'll have somebody. I hate to say who it is because I haven't talked to them yet.
From on current staff?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and was Hallis at this meeting this morning? And
Hallis was not at the meeting this morning. No. It was
will
just,
there be an effort made to reach out to him to maybe reconsider, or is that up to the new coach?
that would be up to the new coach. Thank you for answering that, Brooks.
Where's it from?
Bob, how much did the lagging attendance start to bring questions into your mind about where the program was headed?
You know, certainly that's an issue, but that was something that I knew when I made the first decision. So it really had no effect necessarily on the reversal. Maybe looked at it a little differently, but I had that information ahead of time.
Bob, would you anticipate using a search firm or a hiring committee, or what type of hiring?
You know, at this point in time, I think the best search firm are you people out there, because we're getting a lot of people giving us calls and names, and so that's a great place to start. So I don't anticipate using a search firm at this point in time. If it gets out of control and crazy, we might look at that, but I think we can handle this one ourselves.
Do you expect last time when you were hiring, you were able to go to the Final Four where all the coaches were. Will it make it tougher this time, or can you maybe be a little bit more specific and target people and go see them, or have?
That certainly was not a good experience, believe me, going to the Final Four. No, I think there's obviously some people that are out there that are available. We'll target some of them, and then we'll get some names, and then we'll see where we're at.
So it sounds like you anticipate a better react or acceptance than last time.
Well, I think it's a better job than last time. You know, I think it's a better job than last time. I think as Craig has raised it to this current level, you've got the basketball center, you've got the Beth Ray Academic Center across the street. We didn't have those things 6 years ago. So it's a better job.
Does the fact that I know it involves football, but the Big Five conferences who are obviously going to control intercollegiate athletics from this point on, that you're one of those.
We're one of those five, absolutely. Yeah, so the landscape has changed, there's no doubt. So we'll see, you know, we'll move as quickly as possible, but we'll make a good decision. I see you got the mic.
Based off your conversation this morning with the team, did you get any sense that anyone else is thinking about or contemplating transferring?
Not at all, not at all. They seemed pretty positive. They seemed pretty connected together. Then again, they're 18 through 22-year-olds. I mean, you know, how do you judge that sometimes? But they seemed pretty good, in a pretty decent spot. I was surprised. Anything else? Great. We'll see you in maybe 2 weeks with the new coach, hopefully, without putting a timetable on it. Thank you.